I am not an audiologist or ENT, and I suggest seeking medical advice if you have tinnitus or any other hearing problems or ear problems or health problems, and for that matter. I just got off the treadmill, so I thought I would do a video based on my experience of working out and having hearing aids. My hearing aids are behind the ear right now. And I have had hearing aids, like I said, for 10 years. When I first got them, I actually lived near the beach, and I lived in an area where I ran a lot, I hiked a lot, was in the water, like kayaking or stand-up paddleboarding. I also went to the gym, I did yoga, hot yoga, all of that. So when I got hearing aids, I struggled because I didn't know how navigate having them and working out. You might wonder if you don't have hearing aids or why this was a problem, was because you can't get your hearing aids wet or overly sweaty, or they will stop working. It was more important that I could hear than it was for me to work out. But I did want to work out, and what I ended up doing, 3 or 4 things I will share with you today that really helped me is, obviously, if I was in the water at all, whether you're showering even, I made sure my ears were dry when I put my hearing aids back in. I wouldn't wear them if I went out on a kayak or stand-up paddleboarding at all. The risk of me falling in was too great, and the risk of them not working really scared me. So I made a conscious effort to either leave them at home or leave them in a plastic pouch in a bag on the shore, or I just was really conscientious about where they were and making sure they didn't get wet or get sand in them. Now, one trip to Mexico, I did have too many margaritas, and I ran out in the water, and I came out quickly because a wave came over me, and I was freaking out. And my sweet friend who lives in Mexico was there, and she and her son were like, "It's okay," and they didn't realize why I was so upset. And I just didn't have the money at the time to get new ones. I also didn't want to go the rest of my vacation and not being able to hear. Even when you get your hair washed, like when I go to the hairstylist, I have to be mindful of the water in my ears, because if I put my hearing aids back in, I could be prone to getting ear infections. So when I went to the Cayman Islands with some girlfriends, I had these hearing aids. So as you can see, these hearing aids were pretty tiny, and these were the in-the-ear ones. So I'd stick them, and when they make these ones, they mold your eardrum, and so this fits right inside, and nobody can see them. That's all well and good, except for no air can get in there either. So if you get water in your ear and then you put those hearing aids back in, you could be prone to a bacteria or infection or anything like that. And that's exactly what happened to me. We were doing all sorts of things in the water in the Caymans, and I got a double ear infection while I was down there, and that was miserable, because then I had to fly home with 2 ear infections. And at that time, I was new to wearing hearing aids, and I was just not smart about it. When I'm on the treadmill, I can stream music to these hearing aids, so I keep them in just to listen to music. But often I do take them out when I'm at the gym, because there's a lot of loud noises around me. The clinking of weights, the music, if they're playing music or games or, anything on the TVs can be a bit loud. And then the machines around me can be a bit loud. So if there are a lot of treadmills and whatnot, just take them out, watch the TVs. If people talk to you, just tell them you're working out, you can't talk. However, I did wear my hearing aids when I would do free weights, when I go for walks, when I go for hikes. If I did hike and it was a really humid tropical place, I was very mindful to take them off and make sure I dried them out, and made sure that I had Q-tips or something with me to keep them dry. If you do get water in your ears, you can use a blow dryer to kind of get air in there and dry out the inner ear canal, something that I often do. Yoga. So when you go to yoga, obviously most yoga studios, or even if you're doing yoga at home, you can wear your hearing aids. I wore mine all the time, except for when I would go to hot yoga. Because of the heat in the room and the sweating and everything like that, I was worried that it would cause my hearing aids to stop working. But even when I go to regular yoga classes, I struggled with my hearing, even if I had my hearing aids on. A lot of yoga instructors are trying to create this calm environment, this very serene experience. When you are doing certain poses in like downward facing dog or plank, you know, anything where your visual is not straight ahead at the instructor, it can be really hard to figure out what is going to happen. So I actually picked to be in the front of the class, not just to hear the instructor. I use my eyes a lot to hear. If I could see in the mirror the people behind me and what they were doing, regardless if I could see the instructor or hear the instructor, I could watch the people around me and see what moves and what our motions were and what our next steps were. I positioned myself at the front, and then if we were in downward facing dog, you know, you're down and you're facing the back, you couldn't see or hear the instructor very well. But again, you can see the people behind you. So then I would just watch and follow, you know, were we going to do whatever move we were going to do next. And that really helped me a lot. While I didn't like to be the center of attention, and I was in no way pretending to be a great yogi, because I definitely am a novice when it comes to yoga, I did find myself at the front of the class as close as possible to the instructor. Anyway, those are a few areas that I found to be places where I did notice that hearing loss played a factor in my exercise. Often would run with wearing my earbuds, my iPhone earbuds, when I ran anyway. So I used to not even wear my hearing aids when I'd run. And people would talk to me, they would kind of speak up because they thought I was listening to music. And in that case, I could hear pretty well. I never really struggled in that situation. So I hope this video gives you some ways of getting around your hearing loss and still being active. I encourage you to continue to be active and not let hearing loss navigate your choices in life. There are ways around making sure that you can still hear and that you can be happy and enjoy a full life. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.